Louie C. the Mayor, what is going on, my people? A lovely, exciting, wonderful day in paradise. Big show today with the big chief in the building, as you can see. Thank you to FloridaKeysIndy.com. Lawyers for accident in the Keys. If you have an accident in a car, moped, bicycle, or God forbid on that ocean, you must go local. Go to FloridaKeysIndy.com. Them boys will take care of you. Advanced Urgent Care Key West Marathon in Key Largo. New protocol in the COVID-19. They're not even waiting for the results to come back. The new drug ivermectin are working wonders. Dr. B, the #1 doctor in the world, will be on the show Friday, so check him out. And man, oh man, for 20 years I've been looking for new Cuban food. Have you found paradise? I got to tell you, I ride around here. Occasionally I still get lost once in a while. 124 Duval Street. It is definitely so good. So it's all love right now. Those of y'all watching on the Facebook, make sure you hit the notification button right over here. Woo! And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a little box right here. It says subscribe. All you got to hit this button right over here. Woo! So it's my honor to welcome to the program, Chief Brandenburg, Mr. Sean. How are you doing today? How's everything? I know you said you had a busy day. You know, you stay out there, especially we still in a pandemic, believe it or not.
Still in a pandemic, still busy, still plenty to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So thank you for coming on the show. I think you've been on the show before, and now we're going to get to the meats and potatoes. Before we get to meats and potatoes, though, I got to go over the disclaimer to make sure everybody's clear, because I don't want no type of issue, foolishness, nonsense. I see doors on in the building, checking in from Stock Island. So on this program, you could ask any question that you want. You could have a different opinion, not a problem. You could do that. Let me tell you what you can't do. You can't disrespect guests. You can't disrespect me. You can't disrespect nobody. So if you go and cross that line, what we do is, you might be unfriended, depending on the violation. Then we could block you. And then if it's critical, you might get a visit from the Louie C. the Mayor detail team, like they do in the Secret Service in Washington. That might happen too. So please just put respect on people's name, and we'll take all questions out here. So Chief, let's get to the meats and potatoes of what's going on. So it's tough to be a politician or a police officer these days. How are you and your department doing?
Yeah, I just came from briefing. The night shift was getting ready to hit the road. And all the men and women at the Key West Police Department seem to be doing a really good job. Seem to be holding up well. We're checking on them every day, every shift, making sure everybody's healthy, happy, and able to do their jobs.
Absolutely. And bottom line is, these are extra job descriptions that you have during the pandemic. Usually they give you, see I got 2 papers here. So now they give you 17 new papers. You've never seen them. There's nothing in there. I don't think they teach pandemic in the police academy.
No. There's no classes on pandemic. And I've told people several times, usually for police officers, twice a year we get new laws.
Right.
2 times, right? Usually in July, usually in January, we get new laws. And you got some time to work those out and figure it out and talk to the other lawyers and see how that's going to be applied. But during this pandemic, things are moving at a much faster pace. So it's certainly been a change for the officers to keep up to date. And those briefings are so much more important now, because we put out the newest, most latest information at each of those briefings. And so the officers know before they hit the street what's expected of them, what the new rules are, if there are any, and how we're going to go out and enforce that and make it safe for everybody.
Usually when you deal with cities and City Hall, and different rules and regulations, they give you a little grace time for it to come in. Over here, me and the chief could be sitting here, all of a sudden something came down from Washington out of the blue sky or whatever, that's brand new. So this is very tough, but I think I'll be honest with you, I'm downtown out there, and in the spirit of shaking hands and kissing babies, even though we can't do it. And I got to tell you, for the most part, I've been saying this from day one, and I see that people are complying. Some people have to be reminded, but I don't see nobody just outlaw breaking, trying to not do the right thing for the majority, in my opinion. I mean, would you say that's the case, or are you seeing some crazy stuff out there?
We're definitely seeing some crazy stuff out there, but for the majority, people are complying. Everybody's trying to keep everybody healthy and safe. We do have police officers stationed on Duval pretty much 24/7 now. Whenever there's people out on Duval, there should be officers out there on foot reminding people to keep their mask up, Make sure they have their mask on at all times, and we're out there making a difference.
And let me ask you something here that we didn't talk about. So, within the sound ordinance, right? Violation of sound ordinance, right?
Yep.
So I was involved in that committee a long time ago to put that together.
The most recent one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we had issues throughout the years, and it's tough because that's a delicate situation. With meter readers and the whole 9 yards, right? But what we did do well, we stopped wasting resources by what we put in here, which said that unless you put a name to a complaint, there's no complaint. And that's in the ordinance, the last one that we did. So there's a lot of people here, I like nothing to do with real police, and I like to call the COVID police, that sometimes call, and it's, foolishness or whatever, but that does tie up resources that we don't have these resources. So, I've been talking to people about that on certain situations when it comes to masks. I mean, if you're going to complain, I believe you should put a name on it. So like that, you don't tie up. Because, a lot of times, it's true, you could call, you went somewhere, by the time you got there, there's nobody there. But if somebody's not even willing to put a name on it or whatever, that's how I feel. What's your opinion on it?
Well, to go a step further than that, that's why we're teaming up with Code, and we're going through all the businesses with Code to make sure that the businesses are wearing their masks and doing what they need to do, staying in compliance with the most up-to-date ordinances. So we're out there. We put our own name on it, right? We're out there. We're looking ourselves, right. And we'll take care of it if we find the violation. If someone calls in and violates, or calls in, a complaint about a certain particular area, I don't know that we're putting a name on that, but we go out and check it ourselves, and if we see the violation, then we take it.
Right, and it's different,
action,
like
right?
with the sound ordinance, because it's code or whatever. But I just, like I said, I want people to be part of the solution, not the problem. Any questions you guys got? Come on in. We're gonna answer all questions. So let me ask you this: what do you say to the people who do not want to comply with police commands? As we know, it's crazy what's going on now. How can we make a difference, Bo?
I recommend to everybody to comply and then complain if you don't think you were treated fairly or justly. There are a number of ways that you can file a complaint against a Key West police officer if you feel you weren't treated properly or fairly. You can come straight to us. You can send us an email. You can call us on the phone. Our internal affairs inspector or sergeant is Jeffrey Dean now, and he will happily take your complaint at the Key West Police Department, 305-809-1000, and ask for Sergeant Jeff Dean. Another way, if you don't feel comfortable calling the police or telling us about your complaint, you can go to Citizens Review Board. They will gladly take your complaint. So comply and complain.
Gotcha. Okay, and that makes sense. That's the next question. What alternatives that people have, if they feel they've been treated unfairly. But a lot of the stuff is common sense. So to me, I dealt with a lot of stuff, on these streets, and I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the side where, I'll be honest with you, I curse police out. Police has cursed me out. I even had a situation a very long time ago where I felt it was such an injustice that I had police working detail, and one of the police, it's a long story, so I won't go into it. I completely felt this was an injustice, so I fired the police in the middle of an event because I felt that's the only way to deal with. And then I was taken to jail for interference with custody, and then basically that was thrown completely out, and that was the end of that. But I felt that it was so critical that I stand up because it was, it wasn't like it was just one thing that happened. It just kept escalating. But I don't advise to do that because I luckily made it home safe and sound. Right. So an escalation that starts like we talk about on a nice conversation on the street about something, and then it goes awry, then people are not making it home. And I'm going to tell y'all this, and y'all can take it any which way you want. It's not about black and white, about wrong and right. Because if the police is right, I'm the type of person, if police right about something, they right. If they wrong about something, and I believe they wrong, I'm going to say it too. But please stand up for injustice. But you don't have to be killed over it. You have to learn. Knowledge is key, and that's the way I feel. We got a couple people coming in here. So, Chief, I'll let you take that one if you can see it on your screen right there, sir.
Oh, so yeah, for the city of Key West and the free mask, good question. Yes, we are providing free masks to the homeless. Matter of fact, we're handing out thousands of masks. Those officers that I have out on Duval Street and telling people to put their mask on, if they don't have a mask with them, we give them a mask. We've handed out thousands upon thousands of masks to people down on Duval. And most of them we're handing out right now are still the real nice ones. I mean, they're a cotton, nice cotton. Matter of fact, we've had a few people that were wearing the blue paper ones come up and ask if they could have some of them nice cotton ones. And we gave them to them. So yes, absolutely. If you need a mask, you can walk up to any of the officers working Duval Street, come by the station. There's several organizations in town that are also giving out masks. So yes, there is a way for you to get a mask.
And I'll give it to you all blood raw on the program. These masks that we wear, and it's pretty and all that, but it's a pain in the ass. Me, I have to do a show every day. After here, I got to go to production on the radio. It's tough, but it is what it is. And I got to tell you, it is saving lives. And one day we'll be out of the mask. Unfortunately, it ain't going to be today. So to just stay positive, because anybody riding down Duval Street, we're in financial straits right now. So we have to work together, even if something don't benefit you and you're in the service industry, because I have this discussion with bar. Well, my bar's not open. Well, your bar's going to be open soon by the state, and you're at 12 o'clock. So you might as well start working now to get out of the 12 o'clock and move forward. So we have to work together. And like I said today to somebody, there's no I in team. That's why the Conch Championships, Key West Conch's at 11 state championships. We got to work together. So, Chief, I think we got another one here. Oh, there it is, Mark Lyons. Well, when Mark Lyons show up, it's a real attorney right there. Florida Keys Injury in the building. Thank you for joining in, sir. Mark, how's the situation down there with everything? How y'all boys doing on the COVID? So, Chief, I'm gonna ask you to read the question so that people know what the question is, and then if you'd like to answer, it'll be great.
You need to go after crimes, not beat up people. I know you have to enforce things, but be relaxed.
Okay, let me say this. So I haven't seen anybody get beat up at all here, and I don't think that we're trying to do that, but I'll let the Chief speak for himself. I mean, what do you want to say to this person here, Monica?
So Monica, yeah, we take, anytime any kind of force is used on an individual in our force continuum, there's a report that's done, and once a week the command staff and the training staff and the accreditation from the QS Police Department reviews all of those uses of force. At the end of the month, we turn all of those uses of force over to the CRB, and then they go over all of them. So we make sure that the officers are using as least amount of force as is necessary to get the job done on every case where force is used. And that's at least a dozen sets of eyes that look at every one of them. If one person has a problem with anything there, then we start looking into it further. Sometimes we need to retrain. Sometimes somebody needs something more than that. So we look at it weekly on how we use force and how we're dealing with the public.
I think that's fair enough. Let me ask you this, Chief, because I think I want to pioneer some, but do we have any programs that teach kids their rights in the school system, that we work with the PD or anything like that in the books?
I'm not aware of a program like that. The schools may have something, our SROs. I'm not sure everything the school resource. We have a school resource officer in every school now. So I'm not sure what their programs, I don't have the word for word of what their programs are with me today. I can certainly look into that. One thing, we have the PAL program, the Police Athletic League, and we're looking to expand that. So there might be an opportunity there to teach kids more about their rights. So I don't know what else I can say.
I think that, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a resource officer that is stationed at a school, you cannot be called away unless there's, I guess, something very catastrophic going on in the city. So this is very important for the security of schools, because we can't let our guard down, even though I know we're in COVID, but we're going to get back normal, because we're very lax. Let's be clear down in Key West, but we're not immune to terrorism or foolishness. And the last thing we want in our community that we work hard to be the Conch, we probably have one incident like this. And like we talk off camera all the time, if you're hearing something and you go to that school, don't believe that you're a snitch. You're going to save lives, whatever. If you hear something, not even remotely, if you think it, you need to tell it, because I got to tell you, you're going to be saving lives there. You're going to be feel real bad if something does happen and you had a chance to say something. I mean, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, there's a text tip line there at the schools. You got Crime Stoppers. There's all sorts of ways to get information to the Key West Police Department or to the schools if you know of something that's going to happen. Absolutely.
Okay.
And we provide, if the school resource officer has to leave, because the school resource officers do, I mean, they have to transport people, they have to go to court, they got other duties they have to do. If they have to leave, we provide another police officer. Another police officer goes to the school and is there before that police officer leaves. So
gotcha.
Always somebody there.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. So any questions that you want to ask, this would be the time. Just be respectful, and we're going to answer whatever questions you got. Not a problem whatsoever. Thank you all for tuning into the podcast. We always keep it blood raw on here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take that. Chief, you want to read that one?
Yeah, when does the current mask ordinance expire? I don't know the exact date for the expiration. I know that we're going to have another one in place before that one expires. You're right, you listened to this QS City Commission last night, and I believe they tabled it or they withdrew it last night,
yeah.
and they'll go with an emergency ordinance at the next City Commission meeting, and then with a super majority they can put another one into place to take the place of this one.
And what it is on the books, there's a big booklet that got 7 pages with basically what it is in the city. If you're outside, you're wearing a mask.
Yeah, if you leave your house, you need to wear a mask. That's the easiest way to say it.
It's written in the bylaws or whatever. So it is what it is. We're making great progress. I'm gonna go into some stuff that happened at City Hall yesterday, so I was happy with that. Okay, we got Corey Evans, DJ CO Episcopal. Do you feel the Blue Shield is cause for non-reprimanding bad police officers, which causes distrust in the community because the stats say less than 50 convictions against police have happened? Let me see. Have happened in the last 15 years. I don't know if that's factual. I mean, what's your response to that, Chief?
Yeah, I don't have a way to check those facts, and we haven't been involved in any of those cases, so I can't speak to them. I can say that in the last few years, I believe that we have internally generated more internal affairs investigation than we've had citizens complain to us. So, I mean, we look at ourselves, we check what we're doing, and if somebody's doing something wrong, we look into why and whether they need to go or whether they can stay and how we can fix it. So
Gotcha.
We are certainly on the constant lookout for misbehavior.
Gotcha. And for people here, my thing with this is I'm going to educate, right? So somebody who doesn't know what IA is, can you briefly explain to what that means to people?
IA is internal affairs. So within the police department, that's the officers that's the officers within the police department that do the investigations into other police officers.
Gotcha. Okay. And let me ask you this: how can we get back to the good old spirit of community policing? Lieutenant George Washington. Remember Lieutenant Washington? How do we get back to that, Bo?
I think we're closer to it than most places, to be honest.
Right.
I think Key West and Monroe County are exemplary in our working with the community, and our community partnerships are second to none. Not just our community partnerships, our law enforcement partnerships are unbelievable. I mean, the sheriff, our federal, state, and local partners, we all work together to make this a safe and happy place to live and work. I don't know if you remember, but when I got sworn in as chief, one of the things I said was get to know each other before we need each other. And I think that's imperative. And that's that community policing. If we don't know each other, if we don't have an open dialogue, we don't have a way to talk to one another, then we're working against ourselves. I think that is where we start, and we build on it from there.
The Conch Republic leads as an example, right? Because people come down here to Key West, even celebrities that let their hair down, and people are very friendly. So this is why I want to keep the spirit of the good old Conch Republic, and most importantly, the one human family, because not every place is like Key West. Now, don't get it twisted. We still got one way in and one way out. And back in the day, we escort you out to the county line and stuff because we don't want any foolishness out here. Because I'll be honest with you, if I'm here in my community, everything's peaches and cream, everybody doing the Conch Republic thing, and you come out here trying to terrorize us, we got to get you from around here. You go somewhere else where you're doing that, but it ain't gonna come in here between you And the sheriff, where I think is the #1 sheriff in America, and planets above and beyond, I think we got a good handle. Like, for example, we had the march for Mr. Floyd. You said you wanted to march with the people, you just wanted to stand on the sidelines. And I think that was positive, because at the end of the day, I don't care what it is, people need to stand up against injustice, but there's a way to do it, and there's a way not to do it. So I got our good old boy, Mark Lyons. You want to read that one, Chief?
I think you might want to read that one.
Okay, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Same positive, I can tell you that my office constantly communicates with his office, and they're prompt and professional. Communicates with his office, and they're prompt and professional. Okay. Talking about you?
Talking about the police department,
yeah. Okay, so that's
thank
awesome.
you, Mark.
Yep. You know this character?
I know that guy.
So with this guy here, this guy right here, this is a special character. He must have heard his ears ringing with the Conch Republic flag. So it makes your job a lot easier out there at the high school with this guy, Chris Valdez.
Yeah, Chris Valdez back in high school.
Yeah, he back in business. He relate to kids. It's all good. You know this character, right?
Oh yeah, I know Jose.
You know Jose?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jose, here we go. I'm gonna keep it blood raw. Jose in a whole different department, Metro Day, whole different set of rules. Very serious. No calls for service for a cat on the tree in Metro Day. It's a whole different type of ball game. That man chasing rapists, murderers on a daily basis down there in Miami. And to me, when I cross that county line and go into Dade County, I got a whole different set of rules out there. I don't be on the phone the second more than I have to. I'll be very careful about pumping gas after sundown. I don't hit the ATM on after sundown. I do not leave my car open, even if I got to walk a half a step. And if I want to have my same bank account, I don't dare even put a card in a machine up there. I walk up to the person at the gas station. Real serious in Dade County. So Jose, there he is. You know, Jose is retiring, coming back home.
Really?
Yeah, Jose back in business. Let me see. I would love to see the Key West flag on the uniform of every officer. Wow. Wow, interesting.
That's something to think about.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, boy, listen, me and you had this conversation, all this talking that you're doing. You talk big, you do big, but I don't know when your date is. I could check with Madam Superintendent. When your date cuts off, you're going right over there. There's a big building, 7 people sit on the diocese. You one of them, so you say you keep saying no, I don't want to go. You going sooner or later. So, Pablo Ali, you know this character?
I'm not sure if I know him.
Pablo Ali, head basketball coach for basketball at Key West High School.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yep, Pablo Ali, he's been on the program. So, see, look, who is Michael Knowles on production? Mike, can you see that?
Yeah, I see it, man.
You good?
Yeah.
Conch mentality. So listen, I got to tell you, Coach DR, I've been putting an APB, for those of y'all that we learning today, all points bulletin, on the coach from Marathon. This son of a gun still missing in that. He think because we got a pandemic on, we let him off the hook on basketball, he letting you off the hook. So it's been about 3 months. Hey, Willie, if you still watching, man, I'm going to have to call this man on the live and tell him where you at, man, because that man is nowhere to be found. Let me see how else we got. Okay, so John Thompson said, hope it is resolved on the 16th because we want to plan on coming down on the 19th, and we need to know, hopefully a little less strict so I can walk out without wearing a mask, providing I am social distancing. Masks on Duval Street, etc., probably a good idea. Well, I'm glad you said that, because Commissioner brought forward that he thinks it's a good idea to go ahead and do a mask zone like you do on the Fantasy Zone on Duval Street, but lacks the mask, in the rest of the city. For example, if you're walking the dog out, on Eagle, and there's nobody in sight within 5 blocks, you shouldn't have to wear a mask there. So that's where we look like we're going, and it's pretty much mirror kind of the county. Where in the county, if you have 6 feet and you can social distance, you're not required to have the mask all in the county. So yes, I'm not sure we'll get to it by the time you get here, but I tell you what, I welcome you. Come on down, because like I said, this is a good time if you want to make light of it, because we're not at 100% at the hotels. There's less people, and you could really see a lot of stuff. And I think slowly but slowly we're getting back to business. Chief, this is a tough one. How hard is to teach police officers not to stereotype?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, that's one of the reasons we like to hire local people. People that already live and work here, already know what Key West is like. So it helps a lot when we have somebody that already knows how the community is, and it's a lot less difficult to teach them.
Right, and basically, like I said, just you got to be careful when you out on the streets. But the main thing you can help yourself with is make sure everything you have is in order. Like for example, glove compartment, it doesn't take, even if you're not very organized, if you have your registration, proof of insurance, and your license, then makes it easier if I know it's over there and I just reach for it in case I get stopped or whatever. But this stuff got to come to an end, and I got to tell you, this stuff about division in the middle of the pandemic, it's like the perfect storm times 10 that's coming at us. We have to do a better way, and we do lead by example here at the Conch Republic, so we just got to keep at it. But we can't lose our uniqueness of, like I said, the one human family. Let me see what else we got here. I think we got one right here. You want to take that one, Chief?
Oh yeah, congratulations, Sergeant Sellers, KWPD retirement, class of '84.
1984 in the building. Pamela Hersley watching from Minnesota. Steve Plum coming in. How you doing, sir? So, Chief, let me see. And this is another tough one. Is it safe to say that if you're not being detained, you're free to go for the most part?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah, for the most part. But at the same time, if you're not out doing anything wrong, if you're out in your neighborhood and the police stop and talk to you, and you're not in a hurry, it's a good idea to stop and talk to the police. Maybe you have some information about something that the police don't know about, and then you can inform us and educate us on what's going on in your neighborhood. That's your perfect opportunity to talk to the police officer that patrols the area you live, to let them know what's going on and what you'd like to see done better or more productively. If you've seen somebody out creeping around in the neighborhood, maybe that's the time you talk to the officer about that. If the officer doesn't recognize you from being in your neighborhood, that's a good time to talk to him. Let them know where you live. Again, get to know us before you need us.
Right. Common sense.
Right. And then the next time you see them, maybe they'll get out and they'll say, "Hey, Louie, see what's up," right? Instead of "Hey, how are you? Do you live around here?" Next time, it'll be, "Hey, we know each other. How are you? What's going on? Everything's still good in your neighborhood." If you have a problem and an officer, you have somebody you can call and you can talk to them. All around, it works out better for everybody.
Let me tell you what I've seen, which is, I think, the problem on both sides, where there be citizens and the police, if you allow me. What I've seen, what the problem is kind of like what you described. I call it approach. Mm-hmm. So I've learned, let's start with the police part. They come up on somebody, and it's a positive approach. Not that you could do that every time, because you might be in the middle of a crisis or whatever. For the most part, just a general situation. I think that goes a long way with the people when you talk people some sense, and also the approach that you have back with the police or whatever. Because I'll be honest with you, if you talk to somebody like an idiot, whether it's not police or anything, just in general, they're probably going to treat you like an idiot, and it doesn't make anyone want to be helpful towards your situation. So I think the approach, and especially with that initial stuff with the police, because one little thing with a traffic stop could lead into gunplay or foolishness, where it could have stopped probably on phase 2. We could have got done with it. So we have to. One thing I'm gonna tell you for sure, that people have to know knowledge of their rights, and basically at least know the basics. Because like you said, like good people, bad people, you have bad cops, good cops, or whatever. So you have to know how to defend yourself in the case that you have to file a complaint or flex your muscle or whatever. So I mean, can you add anything to that?
No, like you say, just if you don't know your rights, or if you think you were mistreated, come see us. Come call Sergeant Dean. Call the CRB. Let's sit down and talk about it. Maybe one or the other could be wrong, and so and we're not going to improve anything if we just sit around and be silent about it.
Gotcha. The city commission finally let up on the gas with bar stools, or back at the bar / restaurant. Can you believe it?
Again, that doesn't. We're the enforcement arm. We don't have anything to do with the making of those rules. Like the city manager said several times, though, the more you lighten up on those reins, the more you lessen the restrictions. It does make it more difficult for the officers out there every day trying to enforce it. So that certainly does come with its own set of challenges. I think the bar seating is more of a code issue, and I think code will probably take care of most of that.
Yeah.
But at night, like I say, at night we're out. Well, even during the day, sometimes we're out with code and we're helping them, and we're going through and checking. And I'm sure the good bar owners are gonna police themselves and make sure that it's groups of 6 or less and they're at least 6 feet apart.
And this is, you heard what the man said. I've been on these streets. I know it from top to bottom. If you have a group of people coming to the Conch Republic enjoying themselves, right? And now, because of the pandemic, we got so many different stuff going on, right? And 3 police come inside an establishment, not that they're not welcome or whatever, this is just the reality, change the whole vibe of what's going on there, because basically now people with uniform, they get attention or whatever. So I'm going to explain this to y'all very simple, and I'm the first one to tell you that if somebody is not complying and they going above and beyond not to comply, they should be given the maximum penalty. I don't care who it is, but I got to tell you is nobody that I know is doing that. Everybody's trying to do the right job. Everybody's just trying to, number one, stay alive, go home to their families, and make a living. That's all we're trying to do. So this is very simple. 6 stools, 6 feet apart. I know there's a 15-page thing. 6 stools, 6 feet apart. So for example, me and the chief go out with 4 other people. We're going to sit right here, 6 stools. We're going to, a good bar owner is going to have a mark over there where the next section is, and that's pretty much it. Now, is it going to happen that you might walk by there and somebody in our group got a little bit tipsy and got up and walked somewhere and it kind of looks that way? Yeah, it could happen where it looks like it's not in compliance, but most of the time it's not a problem. But this is up to the establishment to deal with that, and it will be a headache. But like also the city manager said, I hate to say it's nothing to do with real police. A lot of COVID police out there adding to the problem, not the solution, because they want to take pictures, they want to do this and stuff. And I'm just trying to get people to basically, try to work together. But it's that simple, right? 6 stools, 6 feet apart.
That was my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All love on the program. If anybody else got any questions, this will be the time. Where's the party? Key West. And we're looking forward to a big weekend. And like I said, let's just have some fun down here. I was so happy. The most impressive thing about this, Chief, was that this passed unanimous. We haven't been a 7-0 unanimous on the vote in a long time since that pandemic. It's hard out here. They don't make it easy. So that is the absolute, thing that happened there with the city commission meeting. So I was very ecstatic, and I think we're going to make good, solid progress. So all love. Thank you, FloridaKeysInjury.com. Lawyers for all accident in the Keys. If you have an accident in a car, moped, bicycle, or God forbid on the ocean, all you got to do is go to FloridaKeysInjury.com. And Dr. B. Burrows back on the program Friday. Advanced Urgent Care Key West Marathon in Key Largo, covered the whole Keys. And man, it's serious out here, so I got to go get me some Cuban food, brand new. Have you found paradise? 124 Duval Street, a little bit hard to find, but you'll be back when you find. Chief, any closing words for the citizens of the Conch Republic, the one human family, and the Key West Conchs?
Again, get to know us before you need us. We all need to get to know each other before we need each other. And if you need anything, please call.
Okay. Chief is very nice. I'm going to tell y'all what the rap group say. Young Bloods don't start no stuff. It won't be no stuff. Ha!